All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of the saadcast. This week we brought on R6Dick or Creepery, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah. I'm R6Dick or Creepery. I run the Twitter account. I started in May. It's getting quite a few followers. I make memes quite a bit. So I'm not I wouldn't say I'm well known, but I'm there in the community. And then eventually I joined Dark Zero, and then I'm just kind of there now.
Okay, well, thank you. But what I think a lot of people are really interested in is why you made the account and like what the motivation was to like embody a persona. Because we've had leakers and things like that, like anonymous accounts of people in the Siege community, but you didn't do that. You did a similar thing, and I think a lot of people can just appreciate what you brought as a person to the community.
Right.
But back to the question, why?
That's a really interesting question as well, right? That's like it's a lot deeper than it may seem because originally, given the name, it's not really prevalent to the content, right? Like R6Dick, it's not really like it's not like R6 meme or something, right? So originally the idea was I was just going to be an absolute dick to people in the comments, and like that is like not me like at all. But I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll try it. So like I just started like going in comment sections and just being an absolute asshole. And like an hour in, I'm like, okay, this is not fun. I deleted everything, and then I made my first meme, which was it was a W9S one. Wait, and it was basically just like a really dumb like quick video, uh, but it got like 30 likes, and I was like, compared to like what I had in my main as well, I had like 100 followers at the time. I'm like, oh, this is crazy, right? So instead of like having this account where I was just rude to people, I just transformed it into a meme account, and it just kind of took off from there.
I remember one of your like very first videos when you like first made the account. It was like back when Hickser and Cartley had beef, and you made a video like Cartley and Hickser merged, and it was fucking Hitler.
Yeah,
I don't know, that was
yeah,
so funny. That one blew up. That one was really funny.
I remember when I was thinking of that one. I was like in my kitchen. I'm like, okay, thought of it. It was like 3 in the morning, and especially since we had just started like online school, I don't know how you guys treated it, but like I just like stayed up like as late as possible and like waited for my assignments until like the last minute. So like I was always up
As
to
any
like
good
three.
student
Yeah,
would.
exactly,
Hell
exactly. So
yeah.
I was always up to like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, like thinking of these stupid ideas. So I thought of it, went to bed the next morning, I made it, posted it, and I got like 300 likes. And before that, like my most liked tweet was like 30 or 40 or something, and I went and shot up to like 300, and I was blown away.
So, whenever you started gaining all this traction, obviously garnered a lot of attention with I want to say that to an extent you're parodying the Siege community and all the trivial bullshit that happens with it, right? And how did you first feel whenever all this was going on? You were garnering attention. Obviously, people that were further up in the Siege community were starting to notice you and feel that you were somebody to an extent, I guess you could say.
Right. And that's the thing. Like really, on the inside, like I really was a nobody, right? Like everyone thought, oh, like if I was leakers or ebot, like maybe I'm like a pro player or a tier 2 player, but like I was really just a shitty tier 3 player, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, okay, not. That's how fucked. I agreed with you when you said shitty T3 player, but I mean, you almost made CACL. That's something to speak of.
right, yeah, yeah. But like you know, it was refreshing, I guess. Because you will notice on the account it says it joined in March of 2019, right? But I didn't start posting memes until May of 2020, or posting anything, because originally it wasn't an R6 account, it was just a meme account, right? So it was just a stupid meme account, had like 3 followers, and then I had this idea one day and turned it into that kind of.
That's shit, man. It's that old.
Yeah, look at
I
it right now,
man,
like on your browser. It says it
I
joined
thought you
March
started it
2019.
fresh. Damn,
I
that's
mean,
great.
everyone thought like I was just a nobody who blew up, but like I really just started in May, right? It wasn't like
I
I've been
mean,
going for like a year and a half.
the cool thing though about I mean, obviously at the time you were anonymous. No one
Right.
really knew who you were. I'm sure that at the very beginning, obviously you memed it around, and so did Tara and Terp, right? I'm sure that, and I can't speak on this factually, right? But I'm sure they kind of had an idea of who you were, right? But I think that the fact that no one thought you were anybody in particular kind of helped with gaining traction because it was an actual mystery. People kind of wondered who could this be, and no one actually knew until how long ago was it? It was like
Couple weeks, right?
It's almost 2 weeks, I think.
almost
Yeah.
2 weeks,
Just
right? And
under 2 weeks ago,
that wasn't with your consent
yeah.
initially,
Right, yeah.
which kind of sucks. Obviously, you've already decided that you weren't going to speak out on that and who did it and anything, but it is what it is.
Right, yeah. I mean, okay, speaking back to if anyone had any idea who I was, Tara had no idea at all.
Oh,
Terp
actually,
had no
okay.
idea at all. Ant didn't either. In fact, Ant and Terp didn't even follow me on my end. The only person who did was Tara, and she never made the connection.
God bless Tara. Can we get her main back already, please?
I know.
want the Tara follow
we need to
back,
start, like,
man.
a hashtag. We need a
For the love of God.
We need a verify bacon hashtag and a get sad girl Tara back hashtag. Yeah, but like honestly, like no one had any idea. The only people who really knew were just like some of my in real life friends who like weren't involved in the Siege community, and then the one guy who leaked it.
I can say I was a follower of Creepery before he announced that he was R6Dick. I'm very cool like that. I did not hop on the bandwagon.
I think I followed you and then it unfollowed me at some point, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what happened. I'll be honest.
Awesome. Thanks,
I don't
man.
follow you.
After this episode, we'll see, right? But I mean, I definitely think that what you've done with R6Dick has been it's something to speak about, right? Like, it's definitely interesting, and I think that it's something that we haven't really seen in the Siege community before, because we've had R6 Ebot and leakers, right? But everyone kind of... There were people that didn't really like them.
Yeah.
You know, there were people that... But R6Dick was this thing where everyone could get with it, because it was funny, right?
Right.
And that goes back to me saying that it was kind of parodying and making fun of the Siege community just because of all the stupid horse shit that happened so incredibly often.
Yeah.
And eventually this got to the point where it garnered attention from Dark Zero themselves.
Right.
And I believe that started with a vouch from Intero, correct?
That's great.
Well, actually, it started before that thread. Because basically, I just commented on one of their posts with like a meme of mine, and then like Bacon DM'd me, and I kind of went from there. But our DMs kind of trailed off, and then they had that like thread. It's like, oh, who wants to be a meme maker for Dark Zero? And then I posted this thread, and then I asked for like an Intero vouch, and then yeah.
And then you got it.
Well, I mean, like, honestly,
do you have access to the Dark Zero like Twitter account?
Directly, no. I'll be honest.
No, you just send your memes to like them and Dale.
I'll get there eventually, hopefully.
Oh yeah, he's grinding nonstop, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, to be affiliated with a gaming org this size already, right? Like, I'm just saying, you do have opportunities if you actually put work in.
Oh, I'm super grateful, and going back to Intero, like I've DM'd him like multiple times just to thank him. Like he genuinely like helped me so much, right?
I mean, he kickstarted it. So.
Right. I mean, like you could, you know, say he was part of like or like most of the growth, right? Like he's retweeted like 4 or 5 of my tweets, which really does not sound like a lot, but like, you know, when you have 100,000 followers,
yeah,
like him retweeting a tweet, no matter what it says, that's like 600 likes, right?
Yeah, and that's not even mentioning the part where it's going to show up on people's timelines, regardless of whether they follow him or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a ton of exposure, and realistically, like, real shout out to Intero, because I think that he, like, obviously he's a T1 caster. He's, in my opinion, one of the best casters of esports. him and Kix are a fantastic duo. I think that, honest to God, he actually gives some support to like some T3 players and just to people that don't get as much attention as I feel they would deserve. And I think that he legitimately does care about the community in this game. So shout out to him for that. I mean, not that my shout out means shit, right? But
no, yeah, but like you're totally right. You nailed that. Like he genuinely cares about the community, which is rare when you have that much status. May I say, like. And I think a lot of the different casters show it in a different way. Like, for example, like Kickstar, like he's like community callouts, and Taro's really just about like, getting in there, I guess.
Kickstar's about the game, and Taro's about the community. Like, if we're just like, that's what it.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, like, not to shit on it, Kickstar anyway, though, right?
Yeah.
But like,
definitely.
those are like the two staple casters of the Siege community, and they both care, and everyone loves them. I mean, it's hard to find someone who hates them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would be... Because Siege isn't going to last forever, obviously. Everyone knows that. I would love to see that duo branch out to other games at some point. Because I think that could be... I think they... Honest to God, all you need to show them is some pro... Like, for a resume, right? Is just some Pro League VODs of them casting it, and I think they could probably get in pretty quick. After some studying of the game. God, man. I wish. Couldn't be me. One day.
I did kind of want to mention, it's been a while, it's probably been like 5 minutes or something, but like Elias was talking about how you made your account, or you said you made your account May 2020, and how you just like blew up. I think part of that could be attributed to like just the pandemic, and like you were bringing light to like some pretty just like shitty times, and like just finding like going on Twitter and seeing like some random ass meme from R6Dick. I don't know. It can brighten up your day just a little bit. And
I mean, that's really generous to say.
I mean, honestly though,
I would attribute it less to people like being in a bad state of mind, and more like me just having a bunch of spare time, right? I mean, like that's really kind of you to say and generous, but like, I mean, I guess maybe.
There we go. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Take the compliment, man.
They're ever so rare from me, so just take them.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Anyways, moving on. We talked about how you played in the Canada CL quals. Do you want to tell us about how just that experience went for you and what ended up happening for you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was really interesting, right? So, I think we started. So compared to last quals, so in May of 2020, there was the first CACL and CAPL quals. So CAPL quals had like 80 teams, CACL quals had like 60, and then this round of CACL quals had 18. So there was only 18 teams going for 2 spots. So.
Bro, I'm moving to fucking Canada.
I mean, yeah, in the first place, they're regardless of skill, you have a really high percentage of making it into tier 2, right? So basically, we were already in closed quals. So we were in closed quals. So we show up on the 12th, and they say, okay, come back next week. So we've done a warm-up scrim, set up our moss, woken up early, like getting all the study. They're like, okay, closed quals are next week, guys. Like, congrats. So next week we show up. And actually, funny, on the 12th, we started our match. We started our first close qual match.
And you got told it wasn't till...
We were up 3-1, cafe defense, and then we had to rehost, and we rehosted, we checked the FACED chat, and the admin's like, don't play your match, it's canceled. So we go to the next week. It's the 19th, I think. Yeah, 19th of September. And in the first round, it's us, R6Dick Esports, versus Megalodon. But Megalodon was like an LFO org I made in like the summer of 2019.
I remember
it's an inside job the whole time.
Yeah, so basically, I was facing my old team in the first round.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I remember when you were on both Megalodon and...
Well, I've scrimmed you like quite a few times, right, Sam?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So... Yeah. So we knocked out Meg. We won 2-1. I mean, personally, it probably should have been a 2-0, but we won 2-1. We underestimated them for sure. And then we faced Dubhouse, which had like a bunch of decent Diamond Plat 2 players. We 2-0'd them, which was we were pretty happy and confident with. So then there was only 4 teams left. It was us, Windstorm.
Windstorm. Sorry, not
Yeah,
Winded.
Windstorm. And Windstorm was in the last CACL season, and then it was the Slats and I don't even remember last time. They were on the other side of the bracket, so it didn't even matter. But it was us versus Windstorm basically, and Windstorm was in the last CACL season, but they made an illegal roster change, and didn't fill it in before time. So basically, they had to re-qualify, and I don't remember what they placed. It was I think it was top 4 in the season. So basically, we were going up against a top 4 team. And we lost 2-0. I'm not complaining. They were the better team for sure.
Legitimately, y'all were facing a team that should have already been in, realistically, if it weren't for some questionable moves. So I definitely think that had it been a different opponent, I'm not saying y'all would be in, but I definitely think that things would look a little bit different.
Yeah. But again, I'm not complaining. They were the better team. They played better. They won fair and square. But it's unfortunate we had to face them, right?
I mean, yeah, because at the end of the day, every player, and I think we can all own up to this, if you look at a bracket and you see a team that is pretty fucking good, a lot of teams are kind of prey on the low-key that you get bracket blessed. Because who doesn't want to get through the shit pretty easy, conserve some energy, some cool shits for future matches, right? And then be able to, for the one match where you have to try to be able to actually go all in. Because, the biggest example I can give of that is, it was Ape versus, it was PogChamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous, right?
Right? Why the fuck is that happening?
In CL with X Pros, and they have to face each other, right?
Yeah,
so,
and
okay. Yeah, no, go ahead, sorry.
It's one of those things where it's the bracket did not bless either of them, because at that point it really was do or die for, to an extent, some people's careers.
Yeah. Wait, what's the name of the team that made CL that wasn't Ape? It was that had Arrow.
Guidance Gaming.
Guidance Gaming, yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
don't shit on Guidance. I mean, they're good.
They're not winning a single game.
I don't. They're not bad.
They're not bad. No, they made CL.
They're top of tier 3. I'm interested to see how they play though, because they put in the time and they have the org support. But it'll be interesting.
Well, it's just but if you compare them to PogChamp, it's I'm glad they worked hard to get where they are, but I think that PogChamp kind of got fucked.
Yeah, they did.
Good job on Zacration for taking Melted's spot and doing good on it. That must have been quite the shoes to fill, although he's already got previous Pro League experience and coaching experience, so he knows how to play in that kind of situation, but filming it from Melted is kind of hard.
I mean,
it's league arranged.
I put in a poll a while back where it was for CL quals, would you rather single elimination in BO3 or double elimination in BO1? And it was 60% wanted BO or BO3 single elimination, which is the current format. I personally disagree though, because it makes sense from Facet's point of view. They have to do one or the other, right? Either double elimination or BO3, because it's a time. They don't have a month to do it.
Discord just went stupid. Awesome.
Oh, that was Discord. Okay, thank God. I thought that was my
yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought all my shit just went out the window. Anyway, back to it.
Yeah. So yeah, most people wanted the BO3 single elimination, which is interesting.
Stop! You just tweeted. What the fuck, bro? We're in the middle of a podcast.
It's scheduled. Don't say.
Scheduled. Saad tweet.
Okay.
All right.
So, what was it, 40 minutes ago, the CCS announcement came out?
Yeah.
And we were talking about this before we started, but, CCS is probably, the best league for T3 players to get into it because it's Ubisoft supported or affiliated, and you are playing like the best of the best. Like, you're basically playing whoever didn't make CL in CCS at that point.
Yeah.
And we haven't had CCS for a while, so what do you guys think that'll do for the Siege community?
Oh my god, I think it's gonna finally, along with them in RSA, right? I really pray to God it's gonna renew because I think that T3 has been in a slump. Like, no longer do we. I mean, it's been a while since we've had teams on the tier of like Old Oblivion, and Divine, right? Like, it's been a little bit. I think that the new CCS season, if done correctly and managed correctly on like fucking AGN, right? Like, I do believe that it could bolster the T3 Siege community in terms of skill and just exposure overall. I hope that it's a good thing. Obviously, they're the most renowned like T3 league. Like, I'm gonna call them fucking T2.5 to an extent, right? Because that's what the competition has been like in previous seasons.
Right. Yeah.
I hope that it's good. I hope it works out well. 2020 has fucking sucked though, so if that alludes to anything, who knows?
Maybe CCS is the turning point, eh?
I pray to God, man.
The end of
Get
the
some
hellish
interesting
year.
shit. Good God.
We only got a few months left. We just gotta hang in.
Yeah, no, and well, what if
Hopefully
it's
this
not
isn't
just
the
the year? What if it's the
prequel.
whole decade?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
No,
Like
thanks.
part
That's
1 of
very
10.
positive.
Yeah,
Hell
positive
no.
like my HIV test.
Okay.
Anyway, let's continue.
The fuck. Alright.
I'm ready to stop the podcast if you guys are. After that one.
We have. Thanks, man.
Yeah, guys,
All right, now
next time, yeah.
Tune in next time after Sale has been removed from the podcast. Well, let's talk about RSA. I mean, would anyone like to speak further on CCS?
I'm just
Very
eager to-
exciting.
Yeah.
I
I
love
just want
Team
to
for
see Pog
CCS
Jam
walking me
at
up.
the top. It'd be
Oh
interesting,
God,
dude! I want to see
No.
Pog Jam get knocked out in quals. Could you imagine?
PogChamp gets first round in quals by a
Man.
bunch of closet cheating golds or some shit.
Just
That'd be
Yari and
funny.
Zaku.
Fucking just crying in their chairs.
Man.
Yikes.
Okay, well, let's talk about RSA, right? RSA quals had some
happening.
fantastic.
As we...
They finished, I thought.
They did
No,
the
that's
first
another
round.
week.
They just okay. Never mind.
They did
never
the
mind, I'm stupid.
first qualifier.
Yeah, they have to do. Oh yeah, no. There's sequential weeks that you can qualify for. They
I think-
already. It's first round of quals. There are already some crazy matches.
They
Yeah,
let
really good
Lycus
matches.
and In Control in. I think.
Lycus Empire qualled. That's all I know.
Yeah,
Let me
they
check
beat
this
In
out.
Control 7-4 on Oregon, I believe.
And I
Which
know
is-
that. Sorry, I know that. In Control, or no.
Oh,
I can't
it
remember.
was Team Identity. So like
Yeah,
Windows Team
yeah.
and Lycus obviously, which is like Hixer and those guys.
Yeah, it's like
Schnitzel,
something.
Shoe, Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good team. And then next week, how many teams can still like? They're like completely
I think
open,
there's
right?
4 quals, I want to say.
4.
Yeah,
okay.
and then 2 teams each week, which would add up to 8 teams. Like that makes
Yeah.
sense for a league
I'm not
format.
100% on that.
Okay, yeah. Are they gonna
Did you
do it
guys-
like?
Sorry, I cut you off there.
Yeah. So for each week, like, would they have like the teams that qualified like the first week play the teams that qualified in like the last week, or anything like that, or is it just gonna be like completely random?
No, it'd probably just be completely new
Yeah.
teams. I think that if
It'd
you've
just be
insured
completely-
your
yeah.
spot, you just wait, I guess.
All right.
You know what I
Anyway,
just thought of?
What?
No. Did you guys see the Unreal Nightmare disband?
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
It sucks, but it's T3. It happens a lot.
no, they're good. Hopefully the guys move on to, I mean, like, they were a good team, but regardless, I'm going to wish that in the future they have better opportunities,
Always.
you know? I think that, Creep, you had a point earlier, and then you and Sam started having your little fucking word salad.
What?
So let's see if you can remember what you were trying to say there.
To be honest, I don't.
That's fantastic. I hate you fucking people.
Oh, you know what? No, I do remember now.
There we go.
I wanted to say, RSA's graphics look incredible. Have
Oh,
you guys looked
yes.
at any of the streams? They look insane. Like
They want to treat it professionally, and they're getting that done.
I think another point I want to make, RSA has really good staff. Like, that's really important. We talked about that, I think, 2 weeks ago on saadcast about, like, T3 leagues and their staff. I think RSA has really good staff, and I think that they're doing a really good job with the quals. Haven't heard any negative comments about them, so that's really a good thing.
Unlike some T4 leagues.
Yeah.
So they paid United Studios, which I think is just like a wing of United that like makes like graphics and like motion graphics, overlays, all that stuff. So they commissioned them to make the RSA stuff, and it looks really, really good. Like it looks incredible, worth the money for sure. I mean, even without the gameplay, the staff, the casters, just you can already tell from the overlays and the assets that it's just like a professional and like a seriously taken league, right?
Yeah, and I think that it is, and I think that that's something a lot of leagues, I don't know if they ignore, but don't take quite as seriously as they should. And that's the thing. If you go into league stream and the GFX look like shit, like first of all, you're not going to be inclined to stay in the stream. It's going to look cluttered. It's going to look ugly. But furthermore, like it speaks of the quality of the league as a whole, and it shows how far they're willing to go. If you're going to do I don't want to say the little stuff, because GFX does make up a huge portion of the stream visually and then just for the league as a whole. But if you're willing to do everything like that to a professional, consistent level, that speaks for the league as a whole.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
It's tragic that there were some really good teams in quals. I mean, they can qual in the future, right?
Man,
so
we were in RSA quals. We got slammed. We played so terribly.
What team? If you don't mind.
Okay. First round, I don't remember. Second round, we played Flagship, and we like scrimmed and
Flagship has like 6 different rosters though.
Okay, it's the one with Penumbra.
Penumbra? I suppose. I mean, Penumbra reached out to me for a tryout, and they just never got back to me.
But I had scrimmed Penumbra before. Like our team had scrimmed him. I don't know, a month ago, and we like 7-0, 7-1 them, and then like they 7-5'd us on like club, and like we were just in such a shit mental basically the entire qual. Like I think we lost all 3 of our matches and we were out. It was just a terrible day.
Especially after having come off of like CACL quals, I'm sure that kind of fucked with y'all a little bit.
Exactly. I mean, that was probably the main issue, right? We'd just come from being second place in CACL, and now all of a sudden we're losing to all these like tier 3 teams, or not second place in. Second place in quals, right?
Yeah, right. Like top 4, 1 game away. Like one fucking. Well, I mean, I don't remember the score, right? But like 1 BO3 from being a T2 team and being taken serious. Well, CACL isn't taken as seriously as I'm not going to say as it should be, but it's definitely not taken as seriously as like the other challenger leagues in different regions. Yeah. But like to be an official T2 player, right? Like that would feel good, and then to go in and play. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And then to go in and lose to, like, no offense to the guys on Flagship, but like a bunch of 16 and 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
No, we lost fair and square. Again, like that's not what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying
like it's not against them, but it's that's gotta hurt you.
Yeah, no, it definitely did.
To know that you could do better.
And yesterday, I mean, speaking of like our mental, like yesterday we played like the Waves tournament. I don't know if you guys saw. Which I think it was like it was basically like a tier 3 Canada tournament, which they don't really exist until yesterday. And the rules were like face it rules essentially. So it was like you have to have 4/5 Canadian, but it was to ensure that it was like tier 2 or tier 3 only. They only allowed 2 PL or CL players per team. So there's like one team had like 2 of the Alti Aura players, plus Shima, Jolly, and Default, right? And that was
Because they're not in CL anymore.
right. I
So
mean,
technically, that's fucked.
yeah, they're all X.
That was practically
that
T2.
was the powerhouse team. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of talking about myself here and the
No,
team.
you're good.
Nah, go for it, bro.
So we faced them quarterfinals or something, and we lost 7-5, which I mean we were pretty happy with, but like because they're all like they
Insane.
all are content creators who are all like crazy at the game. So we were moved down the losers bracket, and then we were set to face them again in like I forget what it's called in the double elimination. It was like losers bracket final, like whoever wins that goes to
Man,
the actual
that's
final.
yeah, it goes to the actual like grand
Yeah.
finals. Yeah.
So we faced them again, and they
That's
just
fucked.
forfeited. Yeah.
Fuck?
Oh, yeah, it was. So we
Fuck
got
yeah.
a free entry into the finals match essentially.
And then how did the finals go?
We lost 2-0 in a BO3, but we still got second, and we still got
It hasn't been a good fucking week.
a second place, man. That's just what we're gonna be known for. Second place all the time.
Hey man, like at least you didn't get first rounded, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
At least you have your name up there, and I mean, obviously people can say all they want, but I mean, no one is ever going to be satisfied with second place.
Right. Yeah.
And like realistically, if you are satisfied with if you're content with second place, I think you can fuck right off. But I mean, obviously, if you worked hard and you got second place, you can be like, we worked hard, we got there, let's go for first next time.
No, and it definitely helped our mental as a team.
And I hope it did. Like, obviously, I mean, I don't know how much the prize is worth. I assume that you can probably go get a fucking 4 for 4 from Wendy's now. So, at the very least. So, at least you can feed yourself for a little bit.
I mean, no, but like considering like what the tournament was, it was a very impressive prize pool. There was like 16 or not even 16, like less than 16 teams. Prize pool with free entry. Prize pool of $600. First place gets 400. Second gets 200, and then the MVP.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, and the MVP at the tournament got like a monitor and an SSD or something.
Oh,
which was my team.
Oh my god!
Cool.
I need to move to Canada. I need to
Dude,
move to
I'm
Canada,
saying,
man.
Free tier 2 and these sick tier 3 tournaments, man. I like.
Yeah, here the T3 tournaments are like $50 and a fucking bag of Cheetos. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Fuel.
There's a term rising which I really like, and instead of calling them tier 3 leagues, you call them Discord leagues. It's just it's such a perfect name for them though, right?
Because it encapsulates them.
Yeah, I mean they're always running these like bootleg Discord servers, with like 12-year-old staff who like, and
then GFX that were drawn in the fucking back of a car.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Or they steal them. That's the other option.
Discord leagues. I'm adding that to my vocabulary. That's a good one. I need to use that one. I was a Discord league player. God damn.
I kind of want to talk about that though. We've been talking about like just how we don't take Canada as seriously as people take America or like Europe or whatever.
But that's a really fair criticism.
I don't know how to. Never mind. Go ahead, Kiki.
I mean, well, let's speak on it, right? Because it's something that needs to be addressed. I feel.
I mean, any player who says that they're at equal levels is being ignorant, right? Like, you can't say the best team in CAPL is as good as SSG, right? I mean, Mirage beating Tempo and almost beating Dark Zero, I think that's a really, really good example of how the scene can develop. Because, I mean, it's hard. Okay, first of all, it's hard to develop. The teams that were there in the first place, they had been together for less than a month, right? Initially. And then, additionally, these teams aren't going to develop without the proper resources, right? So, for example, a USPL team who's been playing together for 3 years, and they can do that because it's their full-time job, whereas it's a CAPL team who's been together for 3 months, and and now they're just making enough money to treat it as a job.
And even then, probably not by much, right?
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. But I just think if you're saying it's the same, you're ignorant, but
that doesn't mean it can't
it will
at some
grow.
point, though.
Yeah, It will grow.
And I think that's something that definitely fucks it. Like, I get that you want Canada to have its own region and everything, and I think that is good from boosting and bolstering player growth and then just expansion of the game. I think that is a good thing. But what I think people need to also consider is that does reduce the amount of options there are for just overall competition and players, right? Allowing one person from the US to play on a roster, like, I think that is good. But I do think that to some extent that having it be, for the most part, like Canadian only, that is going to slow it down a little bit. It's not like EU where you have like 16 different fucking countries that can pick players from all over to compete.
Right. I think Faceit wants to treat it evenly, which I think is
which is good.
Well,
to an extent. Yeah.
It's the word of the day, man.
I mean,
but like, okay, what I would like to see is, I like the forfeits rule in the Canada League, but I think it'd be nice if you could have more than two Canadians or one Canadian on a US team.
Yeah. Okay. No, I see. Yeah, I can agree with that, because then it gives Canadian players a spotlight in a more developed league. And
yeah, let's say I was offered a spot on Oxygen right now. I got a DM from Laxing right now. He's like, yo. Which is never going to happen, right?
I mean, but we're speaking theoreticals.
Yeah. If they were to accept my spot, they would have to kick Foxy off the team, I think, if I'm reading it correctly.
Because you can't have two Canadians?
I think.
But he lives
and
here, right? So.
Or is that? But yeah, is it living?
Is it based off citizenship?
Right.
Well, like TSM had Pojo Man and Geo at the same time. That's Mexican and Canadian.
I think Gio got his visa.
Well,
so
that was before the rule.
American, just like
that was before the rule was in place too.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got
I think
players.
Gio had to be living in America. I don't know.
You've got players like Slevin.
Yeah.
Imports, they do the same shit with residency visas, so they're technically American.
Back to the theoretical, right? We'll say theoretically that they have another Canadian on the team, and then bam, that fucking sucks. Like, someone's got to go at that point, because you're only allowed one Canadian player on a US team.
Right, yeah.
And I think that definitely, like, what you spoke about having multiple Canadians on a US team, I think that could definitely be a good thing. In practice, I don't know how that would go, or if that would ever even be considered at any point.
Okay, so ignore the Pro League example, because I guess they're all living in Vegas anyway. Let's say for Challenger League, though. Let's say if Abe offered me, or actually, I don't know if there's any Canadians in Challenger League. If there was a Canadian, I would not be able to accept that spot unless they kicked one of them off, right? Which is, I think, is it's not stunting it at this point, but on an individual basis, it's not the best for that respective player.
I mean,
and I guess at the end they're trying to build teams and not players. And I mean, in the end, Siege is a team-based game. I get that, but I don't know. I think that there are definitely flaws in the current system.
They do it to keep you in your region, which makes sense, but it's not where we want it to be, because the regions are treated differently. If they were treated the same, then it's whatever. Okay, this is the American region, that's the Canadian region, whatever.
Yeah.
But since they're treated differently, then we kind of just like, because like even Canada plays once a week. In America, we play twice a week.
Yeah, I mean, there's only half the teams, to be fair, but.
Yeah, that, and let's be honest, I'm sure that from a business standpoint, marketing more time for Canadian Pro League, like, that's not going to garner as much viewership as it is for any league. That's just the way things are.
Yeah.
And from a business standpoint, it would be stupid to stream Canadian twice a week.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And especially like these days, we see there's streams every single day of the week now. Like Brazil plays Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday is like Canada and Challenger League, and then Monday and Wednesday are the other leagues. The only day we don't have anything is Tuesday. So the streams are always live.
Which is a lot of work on the casters as well, having to stream multiple regions and preparing for those individually. There's a lot more that goes into it than I think a lot of people realize. but I don't know. I think the current state of Pro League as a whole, I really pray to God it can save this game, because I think we can all collectively agree here that this game is not in a fantastic state right now.
It's not that
Okay.
bad either. It's
It's not as bad as I think I'm making it out to be. I'll give
Yeah, exactly. It's still like very
still good.
healthy.
I mean, the state of the game fucking sucks for me. I'm still getting the sound bug every other match, even after reinstalling my game and verifying the files, reinstalling my drivers. Holy shit,
I think
man.
the game's sending you a message, Elias. I think you should just quit.
Nah, bro, I'm going to coaching then. Fuck that. Get to yell at people and make money.
I brought up the Canada point because what like goes overlooked a lot is like Mexico as a region, because
Yes.
we shit, like I think everyone knows what the Mexican play style is, and we shit talking Mexicans.
Yeah, the
more
LATAM
than
play
anyone.
style.
When I was on a team with Elias, we scrimmed a Mexican Pro League team, and
Infinity.
they weren't that like aggressive or anything. They just
But yeah, they actually played a structured play style.
they slammed our shit. They 7-0'd us, and we played one map. They 7-0'd us. They were really good, but
But what I will say is that the criticisms about the LATAM play style, I think, are because every region does have its play style, right? Like that's not disputable. I think that to an extent, though, for all we complain about it, you gotta give them. You gotta say though, like if it kicks your shit in, then that's your fault.
well, you can argue the Canadian play style is very similar to the NA one.
What the fuck is the Canadian play style?
Exactly. You said every. You
I
said
mean, it's not
every region.
developed, right? Like,
Yeah, no, like it's been around for less than a year.
I would.
Yeah, you said every region has their own play style.
I don't know.
What's
like
the
the video
APAC
game?
play style?
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I would say like Canadian Challenger League is probably better than like the Mexican Challenger League.
Yeah,
Competitive
definitely.
wise.
I did just scrim a T2 Mexican Challenger
That's
League
why I
team.
brought it up. Your tweets.
Yeah,
I scrimmed one as well.
I'm gonna
right?
agree with that. I can agree with that though.
They weren't bad, but I would say they're just like compared to like US, they're like an average tier 3 team.
I mean, I'm playing fucking DLC ranked to get against them. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, but like also like going to Twitter and bitching about it also isn't really like you chose to scrim that LATAM team. Like they're gonna play.
I didn't get to choose it. I was trying out.
Ladies, chill.
Okay, the team you're trying out for went bitched on Twitter. Like they're not gonna switch their play style because like they're
No. I mean, it's nothing against that. It was just like I was agreeing with Dick Creep's point, where it's like
Yeah.
I do think that the CACL is probably in a better state than the Mexican CL.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, not state. I mean, like they're.
Well, it has better competition, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Very ignorant of me to say some of those things. I would like to apologize before the twit longer has to come out 2 days from now.
I don't know. Peeping Sigmas is probably the scariest thing I've ever done. So that guy's lethal. Okay.
He's not Cole. What are you talking about?
Sam, what was this drama shit that you put as the last talking
Oh,
point?
everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's the scars fit longer.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah,
knows
baby.
now.
That was overhyped to shit, man. I was hoping Corey would put some good shit out there.
Yeah,
Just-
I think Corey probably has more that he's
He must have.
he's
I
not
doubt it. No,
leaving.
I
He's
doubt it. Why wouldn't he post it, man? If he knows he's gonna get him clout, why wouldn't he post it? I doubt.
well, I don't think he's leaving. I think he just wanted to expose Wes.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to fuck over Wes, right?
Because,
Like,
like,
let's
no one
be
gives a shit
honest.
about Poison and Kukos. Everyone knows like Poison's boosted.
The
I can't
Kukos.
even find. I can't even find it right now. Like I'm.
It's
Did you
Scars'
delete it?
pin tweet.
Oh, is it? Oh, it was pinned. That's why I scrolled past it.
And I think that obviously I think a large portion of it was done to fuck with Wes, right? Like I remember going into his stream, and this is funny actually, right? He's playing the Oblivion guys who they are facing this first week in Canadian CL, and it was just Boomski shit talking Wes in chat the whole time. It was the funniest shit I've seen in a while, right? But I don't know. I think that I'm not gonna state my opinion. I'm just gonna say is there have been rumors and accusations and evidence for a while. So I think that he was just trying to throw sand at that point, be a thorn in his side, like fuck with him.
I mean, he did it. Like
I don't think it was ever a secret that.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think it ever was either. I mean, I don't think
Okay,
he's a bad player, but
no. But I think a lot of the people in this list, like, hey, like, Wes, don't hate me. Like, I think we're homies, but like, I don't think it was a huge secret that like Wes was boosted, right? Like he's a good player, but like like
Good.
I don't think it was a huge secret, right?
well, there are
Right.
plenty of good players that'll do that because ranked fucking sucks. And if you want the elo, then like you don't want to play some shit game that just involves a bunch of people throwing their lives out of windows every 5 seconds. You want to take a shortcut. You know, like I'm not saying I respect it, but I understand it, and that doesn't necessarily take away from you as a player. It takes away from your
You as a person.
Right.
maybe,
I
right?
mean,
But
the question is,
your
where do you draw
credibility.
the line?
Yeah.
Right? Like, at what point do you say, okay, because I've boosted with cheaters, I am / am not accepted in the comp community, right?
I mean, Ubisoft bans people for that, right? There are people that get banned for that, which means that it's technically against TOS, and it is something that if it were to happen to a pro player, like they got a sanction for it in game, they would likely suffer consequences for their career. You know, just because you don't get caught doesn't mean it isn't against TOS, and it doesn't mean that there shouldn't be consequences for it. What those consequences should be, though, is very vague because you didn't directly do anything wrong. You just promoted it.
I'll never understand why elo is so important. Oh my god.
Because that fucking shiny purple charm, baby.
That's not it though. Like, I personally think, I mean, this might just be me, but especially when you're in the tier 3 slumps, right? You're based off your rank, whether they say it or not. You are judged off your rank. If I show up to a tryout and I'm silver 3, right, with a 0.9, I'm probably not. I'm not as likely to get that tryout as someone who's champ number 5 with a 1.3, right? Like, so it is unfortunate that is how it is based off of. So like, it's not just the charm and it's not just the status. I think a lot of it is
opportunities.
Yeah. I'm gold 1 right now, man. Like, if I go LFT, I'm screwed. Like,
I haven't even played my fucking placement matches.
Yeah,
I think I played like 6 and I'm like mid plat 3 right now.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
Fuck that.
I'm gunning.
Yeah, no, couldn't do that when we were on team together though.
Oh my god, bro. God, you to replace
That's bullshit.
me.
I drop double digits every match. Bullshit.
Anyway. I think I don't know. I think that the Scars Twit Longer could have had a lot more in it. I think that it was overhyped to hell. I don't think that he planned on it getting as much attention as it did, though.
Oh yeah, I got a
He
ton.
said that. Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone
like, fuck
said
me. It had, like, what, 600, 700 likes or some shit?
And like 100 retweets. It's really, really popular.
And then, like, if we're speaking from a exposure and interaction standpoint, like, that's a lot of impressions, man. A lot of people saw that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. Wes being boosted, nothing new. Kukels being
racist.
Fucking weird. That nothing new.
Yeah.
Poison being boosted again, like nothing new. I don't know. It was just like a recap of shitty things that people have done, really.
Well, yeah. I mean, it never really was a secret. It was just never confirmed.
Well, yeah. It was more so affirming the things that have been said. There was nothing new in there, I don't think.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, nothing against anyone involved. I mean, no, actually, fuck some of those people that were involved. That some of them were just genuinely like bad people. But like for the most part, like Scars, I'm cool with him. I like nothing against him. Wes, please make a career out of this and prove people wrong.
Yeah.
If you fall off, then all people are gonna do is shit talk you for the rest of eternity, and that's not where you want to leave this off. You've already come too far for that. I think.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I think that we've gotten through a vast majority of our talking points for today. Is there anything else that anyone would like to conclude with or add on with? Maybe more content? Someone wanted to say something controversial, like.
Fuck
Controversial.
sex.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I fucking hate sex.
Sucks, man.
I hate being intimate with people. Makes me feel like less of a human being. Anyway,
I hate leaving my room.
I need some therapy. Anyway.
Here, I'll give some like announcements about like Sodcast in general. So like for the future, we're planning so far we haven't missed a week. We're doing pretty consistent with it. As you can see, our guests are definitely going up. We're getting some good guests, so like keep the lookout for that. Please like do stuff so we have something to talk about. Like, come on, please do something.
Yeah.
Someone should
Cause some
talk
drama, everyone.
Can y'all
please.
be assholes? Like,
Yeah,
y'all do it
please.
all the time in private.
You guys
Make it
please
public.
start some beef on Twitter or
Can
some
someone
shit. I
please
want to
cheat?
talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna start like streams soon. I don't know who's gonna stream. It might be Sod, it might be Eli. It's not gonna be me, but
It's not gonna be me. It's gonna be Sod.
it's gonna be Sod. Yeah. So we're gonna figure some stuff out. So we're gonna start streams and then we're gonna have like live chat interaction so that we don't get like this awkward fucking silence where we don't know like what to say next once we run out of all our topics. So
Yeah,
that'll be.
Yeah.
That'll be
That's something to
definitely
look
better.
forward to. Speaking of which, like viewer interaction, like obviously we're not going to have many people that actually watch this all the way through or get to this point. We're probably going to have people that click on it, watch the first like 2 minutes, click off it. We're going to have people that just completely ignore it, all of that, right? But that's a standard for like creation in general. If you do make it this far, they're like, thanks. Like you
We
just
do
listen to a
appreciate
bunch
it.
of teenagers talk shit for like 45 minutes.
You're
Which
probably
is
playing
hard enough to
Keynote
get
or
through in
something.
general if you've been in
Yeah,
high
yeah.
school.
We do
So-
You're
appreciate it.
playing Keynote right now, so click those terrorists, bro. You got this. You're gonna make it.
Also let's
Yeah.
start a hashtag where like hashtag unban Sagrol Terra. Come on, let's get that shit
Oh,
rolling.
yeah.
Let's get that
Terra,
shit
yeah.
rolling.
When I
I
announce
need
this
that follow
podcast,
back.
I'll do that for you. I got you.
Yeah, no, like I'm tweeting it out after this match. I'm done with this shit.
What's the hashtag?
Hashtag
unban.
We need to
Terra.
decide that now.
Unban
Unsuspend or
Terra.
unban? Okay.
Unban Terra, unban Sagiro Terra.
Let's just do unban Terra. Less to type.
I'll do that after this.
That's it.
But
Yeah, we'll do that after this for sure.
Creep, thanks for
Doing it
coming
right now.
on. I think we had fun, and I mean we got
Thanks for
we got
having
some
me.
good content out of you. So thank you. We'll be back next week with the Sodcast, and yeah.